I'm going to talk about something extremely controversial, not that it should be, in the carnivore world, and it is mushrooms. Are mushrooms carnivore or are they not? Let's dig into it. I am a forager. I've been foraging mushrooms for much of my adult life. And when I lived on the West Coast in BC, there were so many wonderful mushrooms growing in the wild. And now that I'm here in Ontario, southwestern Ontario, Canada, there are also many wonderful mushrooms. And we're getting into fall now. And I'm going out and I'm looking for things like lion's mane. And boy, did I get lucky in another mushroom. Check this out. These are called chicken of the woods, and they are just a wonderful wild growing fungi. And I include mushrooms in my diet. Number one reason I do this is because it's actually pretty carnivore to do that. The reason I call myself the gray wolf carnivore is, some people refer to the lion diet. I'm First Nation and I'm Canadian, and I have tracked and filmed wild wolves in the wild. In my previous life as a wildlife videographer. And one thing I've noticed that wolves do is they are carnivores. All they eat is meat. They're not omnivores or vegetarians, but medicinally, they will eat certain plants and grasses, depending on how their gut's doing, and they pay attention to that. So it's not unusual for a carnivore to balance its diet with other things. Again, I'm not having a plant-based diet, and this is what I want to get into, is that these mushrooms, these fungi, are not plants. They're fungi. And in fact, fungi are more closely related to human beings and animals than anything in the plant kingdom. And man, are they ever fascinating. So I'm not a mushroom scientist, but I will tell you what I know about them and why I put them in my diet. Obviously, I will not be eating all of these in one sitting. I'm going to clean them tonight. I'm going to take the tender parts and I'm going to bag them and freeze them. Nice thing about chicken of the woods is you can clean them and you can portion them and freeze them without having to pre-cook. But if you're going to eat them, you do have to cook them. They can give you an upset stomach otherwise. Trust me, these are not poisonous mushrooms. And if you cook them fully, they taste so amazing. They're so tender and they have wonderful anti-inflammatory properties. So many people in the carnivore community are going to look at this video and go, hey man, that's not carnivore, man. And I know that we've got a lot of carnivore police out there, and even sometimes I'm one of them. I try to be polite about it because sometimes people are putting sugar into their recipes and things that just shouldn't be there. There are no carbohydrates in mushrooms, or at least very, very, very little. And what's nice about mushrooms, or what's interesting about mushrooms, is that they're so completely different than anything else on the planet. This is the fruit of the mushroom, but the actual mushroom itself, the mycelium, is much larger, and it penetrates things, in this case, dying wood. And there's so much of it inside of the wood, but it's also in the ground. And a lot of people, a lot of scientists have done studies that show that mycelium can communicate through large distances, not only with itself, but to other plants in the area. So mycelium, because it grows around trees and tree roots, can actually send messages to other trees. That's a whole other story. But what's most important is that a mushroom, whether it is a chicken of the woods or mushrooms you might be able to find in the supermarket, things like chanterelles, which you can also find wild, and I do forage them. Also, other bolete mushrooms, regular mushrooms as well are a nice enhancer. It's like, I mean, who doesn't like to have a fried mushroom on top of a steak, fried in butter? This is not going to harm your carnivore diet. It's not going to knock you out of ketosis, but it is going to add some extra texture and flavor that you might not otherwise have. And come on, guys and girls, we've got to mix it up a bit, right? We're carnivore, but come on, we still like to cook. I'm going to take these into the kitchen. I'm going to portion them. I'm going to bag them. I'm going to freeze most of them. And then probably at another time, like tomorrow, so I might not be wearing the same shirt, I'm going to get further into the whole mushroom story. I'm not going to go too deep. I'll do maybe another video on that, but rest assured, including mushrooms on your carnivore diet is not going to have a negative effect. The only thing it's going to have is a positive effect, because one thing many, many, many mushrooms are known for are anti-inflammatory qualities, also anti-aging qualities as well. And carnivore does that on its own, So why not add something else to your diet that has that would enhance the medicinal values, right? Like that's where I'm at. And I don't think having mushrooms in your diet makes you a dirty carnivore. And so I'm going to be exploring recipes and things that we can help to enhance our diets. And these don't just add flavor. Again, I'll be repetitive here, but they've got medicinal value. So what is the problem with adding this to your meal? If you're a doctor and you have other information that proves otherwise, I invite you to comment in the comment section below. Or if you're a fellow fungi like I am, fungi fan, I should say. I'm a dad. I've got dad jokes, okay? If you are, then please include your stories and your expertise and info about mushrooms, okay? You know, the thing about this carnivore community is that we're all learning and sharing from one another, which I really, really appreciate because I've learned so much in my past 7 months as a carnivore. I'm a newbie. I've got a long ways to go, but at the same time, I've been doing it for a little while. I'm feeling the benefits and the effects. And I just want to keep sharing these stories for new beginners or for carnivores who may not have delved into certain areas about how to enhance their diet and enjoy being a carnivore even more. So I'm going to take these massive amounts of chicken of the woods. I'm going to clean them and portion them out, and then I'll come back to you guys.